Yeah, hi, this is Dinesh Kumar and you are watching about Unix videos. So let me introduce about what is Unix operating system and Linux operating system. What are the advantages of Unix or Linux other than remaining Windows or DOS or other operating systems. See, Unix or Linux both are multi-user operating systems. Multi-user operating systems. What is meant by multi-user operating system? Generally, in Windows or DOS or other operating systems, at a moment of time, only one user is allowed to log on to the operating system. But in case of Unix or Linux, more than one people or more than one person is allowed to log on. Okay, that's why we can say Unix or Linux both are multi-user operating systems. Nowadays, the most of the companies are using either Unix or Linux as their servers. That's why they are having higher priority. So before the student is attending to the interview, it is better to get the knowledge of how to use Unix or how to use Linux. So in our video sessions, I am going to discuss about what are the basic things the student has to get the knowledge of Unix or Linux environment. Okay, yeah, in this video I am going to introduce about what is Unix and Linux and what are the different types of operating systems. See, before going to discuss about Linux environment or Unix environment, let me discuss about what are the types of operating systems. Basically, you have three types of operating systems. The first operating system is single user and single task operating system and single task operating system. So what is meant by single user and in single task? At a moment of time, only one user is allowed to log on into the system. That is called as a single user operating system. So once a user is already logged on to the system, there is no chance to the next user to connect to the same system or to log on to the same system. That kind of operating system is called as single user operating system. And what is meant by single task? Yeah, so the connected user or logged on user, he is able to perform only one task at a time. He is able to perform only one work at a time. That is called as a single task operating system. The example for this is MS-DOS, Microsoft Disk Operating System. The property of MS-DOS is what kind of OS it is. It is a character user interface. It is a command user interface or character user interface. It allows only commands. You are able to execute the commands. See, first you are writing a command. The command is to be executed. If you hit the enter key, the command has to be executed. Once the execution of the first command is over, then only we are moving into next command. So without completing the execution of the first command, you are unable to execute the next command. Means at a time you are able to execute one command at a time. That's why we can say it is a single task operating system. Right. What are the disadvantages in this? It is not allowing multiple users and it is not supporting graphical objects. Only it is a command line environment. Okay. What is the next type of operating system? Same, single user and multitask operating system. Single user and multitask operating system. Here also same situation. Sorry. Only one user is allowed to log on, but the allowed user is able to perform multiple tasks. What is meant by this? See, let us consider Microsoft Windows. So we are very happy with Windows. Why? Because Windows, in the sense, everybody can feel like this. Yes, it's a user-friendly operating system. It is an user-friendly operating system. We can easily work with the Windows operating system, but the situation is not like in DOS, right? So the most user-friendly operating system is Windows. Okay, but we have additional advantages are there by using Unix and Linux. So before that, let me discuss about this Windows. In Windows also, only one user is allowed to log on at a time. And the allowed user in Windows, okay, you are working with MS Word document. So then are you able to listen the music? Yes, we can. Are you able to open another MS Word document? Yes. Are you able to open another something Excel sheet? Yes. Parallelly, you are working with multiple applications. Means you are performing multiple tasks at a time. That is called as multitask operating system. Yeah, what is the example for this is MS Windows. And what is the property of this? It's a graphical user interface operating system. So through graphics, we are interacting with the operating system. So we have folders, images, we can play movies, right? All these things are possible in case of GUI based operating system. But in Windows, if you want to execute commands, yes, you can execute the commands also. How can I execute the commands? By opening command window. Means Windows is supporting both the graphical objects as well as commands also. Okay, yeah. Next, then go for next kind of operating system is multi-user and multitask operating system. What is meant by multi-user and multitask? Say multi-user in the sense more than one user is able to log on to the system. Let us see, at the first moment I have logged on to the system. I am in front of my personal system, in front of my PC. Okay, already I have connected to my system. Once I have connected to my system, again there is a chance for the next person to log on to the same system without logging out of mine, without logging out from my account. I am in still logged in position, but still it is accepting some other user. Means it is facilitating for logging on onto the same system for multiple users. That's why we can say it is called as multi-user operating system. And the allowed users are able to perform multiple tasks at a time. The example for this is Unix as well as Linux. What is Unix? Yeah, it's a multi-user operating system. By default, Unix is only CUI. In the early days of Unix, we have to work with only character user interface. Only it allows commands. But nowadays, you can also work with GUI mode. Okay, Linux, by default it is GUI. But if you want to work with commands, then you have to open one shell window. So CUI is possible by using shell window. Or we can say this window is also called as terminal window. Like in Windows operating system, if you want to execute commands, we have to open command window. Whereas in Linux operating system, if you want to execute the commands, you have to open terminal window. Remember this point. The terminal window is also known as shell window. What is shell? What is terminal? How the environment looks like? Everything we can see in the further videos. Yeah. Now I think you got the difference between the operating systems. Okay. So in the first case, it is supporting single user and only single task. In the next case, the advantage is graphical environment with multiple tasks at a time. In the next category of the operating system, it is supporting multiple users with both graphical environment and command environment. Right? This is what about introduction about Unix. And let me finish two more points. See, who has developed Unix? The father of Unix is Dennis Ritchie. Dennis Ritchie. Okay, and Ken Thompson. Ken Thompson. These two users have been developed Unix operating system. Why we have to say Dennis Ritchie is the father of Unix? Let us see. if you are talking about Unix, it's an operating system. Operating system is nothing but it is a software. Software is nothing but it is a collection of programs. Every program should be written by using one language. That language is C language. Right? Who is the father of C language? Dennis Ritchie. That's why Dennis Ritchie has developed one operating system with his team that is called as Unix operating system. It is purely multi-user operating system. Right? And next, what about Linux? Yeah, this operating system was developed in early 1950s. In early 1950s, the Unix operating system was developed. Okay. Next, what about Linux? Linux was developed by Linus Torvalds. Linus Torvalds. Okay, he is a research student on Unix operating system. From this, Linux has been developed, and Linux is completely open source code software. So 1991, in the year 1991, Linus Torvalds have been developed Linux operating system. Okay, and it is purely open source code software. Open source code software. What is meant by this? See, one of your friends, they know Java language. They have developed a Java program. Okay. Your friend has given a Java program to you. Java program means only executable code he has given to you. Are you able to modify the program? You can't modify the program. Why? Because we are unable to modify executable code of the program. Okay? So, okay, I know Java language and you know Java language. You have developed a project and you have given the original source code of Java programs to me. Then according to my requirement, I can change that Java programs. Okay, why? Because I have the original source code is there. Other than source code, I am unable to modify, but I have the source code means I can modify according to my requirement. That is called as open source code software. Linux is available as open source code software. The business people can modify the Linux operating system according to their requirements. That is the advantage of Linux. Suppose so many vendors are there for Linux. Let us say Red Hat is there. If you are an authenticated user for Red Hat and if you have taken license from Red Hat, then you will get the original source code software of Red Hat Linux. Once you got the original source code, according to your business requirements, you can modify that software. That is nothing but open source code software. This is the introduction about both Unix and Linux. Yeah, see here, now we are going to see how Unix or Linux both are supporting multiple users on a single system. Let us see. Let me give a sample structure of multi-user operating system. Generally, operating system should be released in two versions. This is a software released in two versions. One is client version and other one is server version. If it is a client version, Windows or DOS, both are supporting only single user. Remember this point. So, okay, go for Unix or Linux. Let us say these two are also client versions, but they are supporting multiple users. Multiple users. Whereas if DOS or Windows or Unix or Linux all are released as a server edition, in that server case, every operating system will support multiple users. Okay, so let us see, suppose some clients are there. So 3 clients are there. 3 clients are being connected to 3 systems. They are already connected to 3 systems. This is CPU 1. This is CPU 2. This is CPU 3. So 3 CPUs are having 3 operating systems. All these systems are connected to one server. Let us say this is a server. Maybe it is Windows server or Linux server, whatever it is. So as a server, it is supporting multiple users. That's not an issue. But here each user is connecting to the server through one operating system. So one user is able to log on under one operating system. They are not logging on to single operating system. They are logging on to one operating system only, each user. This is one environment. We can't say here the operating system is multi-user operating system. But in this case, see, only monitor, input devices and output devices only. Monitors, see keyboards, and there is a mouse. Let us see, there is a mouses. Right, there is no CPU at all. All these input and output terminals are connected to one CPU. Say it is one system. Under this you have Unix or you are having Linux, any operating system. Still, how many number of users here? 3 users. 3 users are connecting to one operating system. That's why this operating system is called as multi-user operating system. Here, each user is connecting to same operating system. At a time they can work. So like this, according to business standards, how many number of users, maximum users are allowed into Unix or Linux is 6 number of users. Remember that. And they are having some shortcut codes are there. That is, to connect to the system as a first user, use this command, Control plus Alt plus F1. To connect to the system as a second user, use plus F2, Control Alt F2. Control Alt F3 for third user and Control Alt F4 fourth user, Control Alt F5 fifth user and Control Alt F6 sixth user. Okay, 6 number of users are able to connect to single Unix operating system or a single Linux operating system. Right? So each user having his own terminal like this. Output terminals and input terminals, but there are no more than one CPU and there are no more than one operating system. That's why we can say Unix and Linux are multi-user operating systems. Clear? And one more thing, you are implementing your business system like this and you are implementing the business system like this. Which one is making more cost? The first one is making more cost. Why? Because here they have to maintain 4 CPUs, 4 operating system softwares and 4 system resources. But here only one CPU and only input and output terminals. So it will reduce the cost of implementation of your business systems. Okay, these are the advantages by using Unix and Linux. Right? If you compare with Unix and Linux, Linux is most user friendly, not Unix. Okay? Yeah. And see, next one is, what are the flavors of Unix? Flavors of Unix means different vendors having same kind of operating system. Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 97, Windows 2000, Windows 2003, Windows XP. All Windows operating systems, different versions. But the Windows is from only one company, that is Microsoft. These are called as versions. Whereas here flavor means different companies are implementing same kind of operating system. That is called as a flavor. So the first Unix operating system is BSD Unix, Berkeley Software Distribution. Again I am repeating, Berkeley Software Distribution Unix, BSD Unix. It is also called as AT&T Unix nowadays. Next, SCO Unix, Santa Cruz Operation Unix. And next, From IBM, you have one Unix operating system called AIX. From the company HP, we have UX. And from the company Sun Microsystems, we are having Solaris. These are a sum of Unix flavors. Then what are the flavors of Linux? Yeah, flavors of Linux. Here, Red Hat Linux. This is the Linux flavor from Red Hat company. And SE Linux. Somebody can say like this, SUSE. And next, Fedora Linux. And Ubuntu Linux. And OEL, Oracle Linux. OEL stands for Oracle Enterprise Linux. And nowadays, the latest version of Red Hat is CentOS. Red Hat Cent Linux. The recent version of Linux from Red Hat company is Cent. Right? These are the flavors of some of the flavors of Unix and Linux. This is what about the introduction of Unix and Linux. And in the next video, we can go for architecture of Unix and Linux. Thank you.